Hey, welcome back to the channel, Bass Brothers Fishing. Got another boat to work on. This is going to be a Bass Tracker Pro 16, and the bulk of this work is going to be done around recarpeting this entire boat, but we will be installing some electronics, we'll be installing some seats and various other things on the boat. And typically when you go through any kind of rehab of a boat, in this case a really good facelift, you will find some things along the way. So I anticipate just upgrading general things as I go along, things that'll just stand out and make the boat look good in the end. All right, so let me show you the boat, show you exactly what I'm working with, and then we'll start the work. So as I mentioned in the intro, 16 footer, Bass Tracker Pro 16, and this is a 2010 model. The original owner of the boat dropped it off. He's had this boat for 14 years, and this is his forever boat. Wants to get it upgraded and looking like new, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. A lot of wear and tear on the carpet. This is a light gray carpet, pretty matted down. It's almost like standing on the bare aluminum back here, but all in all, I will say he took really good care of this boat. I believe it was garage kept, but of course, hey, this is a true fishing rig and he fishes all the time, so this is normal wear and tear expected. You see the carpet actually worn through here down to the wood. Looks like this was carpeted at one point as well. I can see the glue residue on top of the seat mount here. And this is actually a good glimpse of what the carpet probably looked like new. There was a seat installed here. You can see the outline of that. We're going to be installing brand new seats. You can kind of see the wear and tear there as well. You've got 4 rod holders here. Looks like an old battery was down there. Going to take that out. And got some rod holders here. I did mention installing the Fortrex. It is installed right now, but pretty much a temporary install. You can see it's kind of elevated on some stuff underneath. So we're gonna go ahead and get that flush mounted, and I don't know, probably put some gator skin up here, get this looking real nice. You can see this is kind of tore up right here. So we want to send this back looking really good. You've got 2 hatches up front. Got a small one with a little pull on it. Goes right underneath. I am going to be installing live scope on this boat. I didn't mention that in the intro. I'm going to get live scope on here. Probably put the black box under there is my guess right now. And here you actually have the live well. I want to get this cleaned up. Missing a cup holder right here. Easy breezy, we'll take care of that. And basic layout on the console, we're gonna add a additional switch or 2 in here. We're gonna add a USB charger somewhere up here in the console so that he has that. That's currently not on the boat. And with a job like this, even though it seems simple, okay, recarpet the boat, that does entail stripping everything down, and that's what takes a lot of time and energy to do. Remove all the decking, remove the floor, get the console out, strip off the carpet, and clean all the glue off of all of the rear deck, all of the side panels, including where the throttle is, side panel over here. Do have a hatch right underneath the passenger seat right here. Get this cleaned out as well, recarpeted. And let's see, we've got 2 hatches on the rear deck, really good shape, very clean underneath, no damage. We'll need to clean this out some. Got a little bit of rust in there and whatnot, but this is a pretty deep stowaway hatch right here, very usable. And then back here for the rear hatch, you've got, looks like a, I don't know what gallon tank this is, might be 6, and he's got a new Epic lithium battery. This is a 24 volt battery that will run the trolling motor. He does have a lead acid battery right here as well. We'll be changing that out, putting a Dakota lithium back here. So we'll run wiring to the trolling motor, get a breaker in here, just get this thing up to 2024 standards, which will be pretty awesome. Also clean out underneath here. You can see a lot of just buildup over time. This is supposed to be shiny silver color. Yeah, so as always, at this point, I'm always excited because I already know what this is going to look like in the end, and I can't wait to get it there and take you along for the ride. So let's get started. So if you ever need to do something like this where you're replacing the carpet in your entire boat, first thing you need to do is just pay attention to how, before you pull everything apart, you want to pay attention to how the layout was done originally. That way you can get an understanding of like where are the breaks between the decking, how is it carpeted on the side of the boat, the little sidewall compared to the deck. Also down here, for example, the floor of the boat compared to the sidewall, I can already see somehow they decided to just do 1 layer of carpet to cover both. There's no separation between the floor and the sidewall. And you can see the carpet's actually moving around and lifting up right here. You can see it all. Yeah, look at that. This whole thing just lifts right up. So I'll have to pay attention to this when I start to remove this to see, well, is there an opportunity to do it differently? and have these two pieces carpeted separate, the floor and side walls. So I'll be paying attention to that as well. Pay attention to how the hinges are, you know, how are they installed, what did they use, etc. Just keep going around the boat, pull this right off. You know, how was this done? They just folded it underneath. So as I go through this on the boat, I'll be paying attention to that stuff and to see like, what can I improve? Where is there areas of improvement? We know when manufacturers are pumping out these boats, they're looking for efficiency. They want to get this stuff done in mass quantities. So that doesn't always lend to the best case scenario, the best type of install. Quick tip for anyone out there doing something like this: just pay attention to what the deal is and make improvements where you can. But most importantly, pay attention to the layout, which will help you when it's time to put it all back together, and also will help you while you're doing the carpet job. And it doesn't matter if you need to take notes, take notes. I take plenty of notes. Sometimes my notes are video notes of some of the more complex things that I want to make sure I remember, because you don't know how long this is going to take you. You may think, yeah, I'll remember all this because I'm in the heat of doing it right now. But it may take a month before you actually get everything stripped out before you can recarpet any of this stuff. So take plenty of notes. First up to bat, I'm going to get this front deck out and work our way back throughout the boat to the console, all the way to the rear bench. Got your side panel where the throttle is, everything. Everything's got to go. Strip off all the carpet off the rear deck as well. Got the front deck off pretty easy, no issues there. I will say 90% of the screws are just free spinning, so nothing was truly holding the deck down. So it took a little bit of extra work to get those out. No problems there. Use a screwdriver to put behind the screw and just put some leverage on it to be able to get it out. But what I'm noticing right now is the foam is in great shape. Just need to vacuum some of the dirt and stuff that just got underneath. That's normal, that's fine. It doesn't look like it's saturated with water or anything like that. So I'm really happy to see that the foam is in tip-top shape. Rod tubes are all intact. And I do know this about the trackers, is that this is the conduit for the wire. And right now, the only thing that's going up front appears to be the trolling motor. There is a nav light up there. I have not found that wire yet. One important thing to do is notice how the hatches are installed. I took out the deck first because I knew the hatches were a separate deal for me to uninstall, and the back of the screws are sticking up right here and they're right underneath the deck, so they're a little bit tilted down. So I'm going to try to improve that also.
A few moments later.
All right, so it turns out that this lid wasn't actually attached to anything other than the deck itself. And as you could see, those screws weren't even pretty much long enough to get into the deck. They were only protruding through here, maybe, I don't know, half an inch maybe. So if it was going into the wood, and I can take a look at the deck when I get over there, it wasn't in there by much. Here's my plan. When I do the reinstall, I'm gonna try to improve this as well. I think for durability and longevity, I wanna be able to install this back in the boat independent of the deck. So for longevity's sake, I will install, and this is just what I'm thinking right now on day one, a piece of flat bar or maybe even a piece of angle aluminum down in here. So I have a piece of flat bar either going across the top, something thin enough to match what's already here. Then I can put the hatch lid right up either underneath it or on top of it. It looks like it'll be underneath it. Then the lid would slide up right underneath that, and I can rivet down maybe 3/16 inch rivets down into that. Or I could maybe even put some angle aluminum to make it even stronger, but we'll see. I'll figure that out when that comes, but that's the goal right now. Another opportunity to improve what was there already. Look at this, this is barely even at the edge, man. And another thing I just noticed is that they carpeted over the hinge itself. I really don't know why you do that, and you can see clearly here, the hinge ate through the carpet just from it being stepped on, and eventually it would have gone all the way across. So when I go to do this, I'm going to try to improve this, butt my carpet up against this edge, and if I need to, which I don't know that I will, I'll put a separate piece of carpet butted up against a hinge on the other side. This hatch right here just pulls open. It's just something that's attached right here. I am going to install an actual latch for this to improve that as well. Got the side console out, and I'm pretty much done with pulling everything out the boat except for the floor. And hopefully this doesn't drive me crazy. I'm hoping this. All in all, the wires are in really good shape. All the connectors are still intact, so that will help putting everything back together, just make it a lot easier. So it's time to tackle the main floor. I want to get this out, at least get this out today, and then tomorrow start stripping and cleaning. And that is a back-breaking part right there. I guess a lot of this is, but it's all part of the game, right? All right, let's keep going. So oddly enough, I am not seeing much glue underneath this carpet on this wood, and it's basically just lifting right up. I do see holes where they put pour foam underneath the deck, so that's good. When I take this off, I'll be able to see exactly how that pour foam went. For a second there, I could not find any of the screws, but they're all rusted out. Can't even see the heads of them, so that might just give me a lot more work to do to get this deck off. Once I get this floor off, I'll be feeling a lot better. Pretty big milestone at that point. Let's keep going. All right, the floor is not trying to come up at all. I don't know if it's a combination of it just being in here for a long time, and I had to cut off some screw heads, so I do have a portion of the screw still in the wood. Just the heads where I shaved them off. And third, probably the pour foam underneath the wood might have a grasp on the bottom of the wood as well. So I don't know, not coming up. I'm trying to use a crowbar. I think I'm gonna resort to the good old overhead hoist method. If you guys watched my last tracker build, I used that. I'm gonna try it out again. Probably is the direction I'm gonna go just for efficiency. I could sit here and wedge and pull and pull and pull for the next 2 hours, but I just wanna get this thing out one time really quick. So I'm gonna drill out a couple holes, get this hoist in here, and pull this bad boy out. Just want to pause really quick. The pour foam underneath the deck is adhering to the wood. When I drilled out this hole right here, there's some foam right below it, and it literally held the piece in. I had to dig it out with a screwdriver. So I could imagine all of this underneath the deck. It's holding the wood in place. I mean, it's a good thing for the original build. It just secures the deck even more, but terrible for me trying to get this out. So I'm gonna inch this up a little by little. I hope this doesn't break here, because then I'm gonna have to drill out some new holes and try again. So I'm just inching it up. I can hear it separating from the pour foam underneath. You guys can hear that. I'll put the mic up to it. There we go. I'm gonna let it take its time. Hopefully this works. If I go He-Man on this and just pull it up one time, it's gonna snap that wood right off. Inch it up a little more. There we go. Help it out a little bit. Don't want that wood to break. I'm gonna jump over to the other side. There we go, guys. There we go. There we go. All right. Mission complete. Always want to look below your floor. You always have surprises under here. I see somebody likes to put a chunk on the back of their jigs. So just going through the boat, and I noticed something down here. See if you can get it out. Oh, we got some baits. Flick shake. Yeah, my client likes to throw a flick shake. And some other, what is this? Zoom something, man. This has been down there so long. Labels rubbed off. Package is empty. That's one thing when you're doing these boats, the stuff you find down there. I don't even know what this is. Oh man, there's more. Barely get my hand in here. Looks like we had some crawl. We got one crawl in here. Oh my gosh. Jacks, man. I don't even know what these baits are. I never even heard of them. Got some more. How do all these get down here? More jacks. Ew, can't even tell what that is. I can't get my hand in there. Let's see if I can. Man, that looks sketchy. Oh, man. Oh my gosh, what on earth is this? I can't tell. All right, we're just gonna leave that in the plastic. Might be, I think I see a skirt. I think there's some jigs in here or something, some jig heads. Looks like we got one more thing. Can't even reach it. Z-Man, I see ya. All right, what do we have? Fatties, Fatty Z. Oh, it's wet, it's got water in it too. Green pumpkin. Oh no, there's one more down there. All right, whenever I find stuff like this, I never want to leave it in there. I could easily leave it in there and pretend I didn't see it, but I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. Might as well get this crap out of here. Oh man, here we go again. Ooh, look at that. Looks like it's dirty jigs. Now this has probably been in here a good 10 years, man, because you can't even see the jig that's in this bag. And water's gotten in it, all kind of stuff. It looks like it might be a dirty jig in there somewhere. So that's what we got, our little treasure hunt today. A little spread. Ah, that's crazy. In order for me to remove the carpet from the side of the deck right here, I need to, unfortunately, remove the rod tubes as well, because the rod tubes are actually supported by the carpet. The carpet helps to hold it in place, as you can see right there. I just want the best case scenario that when I'm done recarpeting this sidewall, the carpet goes inside the hole and then the tubes support both the carpet and the carpet supports the tubes. That way it'll look nice and clean in the end. So let me get to wiggling, see if I can get this thing out, and I don't know, wish me luck. All right, I got all the carpet stripped out the boat from front to back. Oh, and one quick thing I want to mention, these rod tubes are actually golf tubes. And I've actually used these in a John boat build, but I've never seen them in a tracker boat. And there's a big advantage of using golf tubes because they are super, super light. You just gotta be careful with the application of them. They do have limitations because they're so thin. You can't really flare them out like you could a PVC pipe. But in terms of just saving weight on your boat, to me, this is the way to go. Downside is they're very thin, probably a 1/16 of an inch of plastic and very flimsy, but to secure them down in the boat with the foam and the carpet on this side, that kind of scenario, even in a John boat, would hold up really, really well. But yeah, other than that, got all the carpet out. I've got a lot of glue to remove. Rear deck, I'm gonna cover up these holes. Typical, you'll see masking tape where they covered it up so water doesn't get down in the pour foam underneath the deck, but that's not foolproof at all by any stretch of the imagination. So how I like to go about removing all the glue are three main things. I'll use a light wire brush as well as an orbital sander wherever I need to. Those will be my two main things. I may pull out a sanding block or any kind of like sanding sponge or anything like that for hard to reach areas, but that light wire brush is critical because I'm gonna put that on my grinder and just go to work at it. But the number one ingredient to get all this glue off will be xylene. That's the trick. You gotta have that, spray and sand, that kind of thing, and get it done, guys. So let's get at it. Luckily, I have really good weather today, and I'll be able to do this outdoors. You really don't want to do this inside. The fumes from the xylene will get to you, man. It's some strong stuff, but let's get at it, guys. A lot of work to do. I'm gonna run a bunch of B-roll. Whew, gotta take a breath after all of that. I've got all the main cleaning done on the boat, so I'm really happy about that. Between the xylene, the scraper, and I had to use a scraper on this boat. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I had to use a scraper first before using the light wire brush on the angle grinder. And I had to do that because there was so much glue left behind. It was just gunking up the wire brush and making it pretty much ineffective. It was just spreading the glue around. I had glue all over everything. It's just very tedious. You have to go at it and stay at it for hours. I mean, hours and hours and hours. Definitely not fun, but let me show you where I'm at. Back deck's all cleaned up. And again, I will do one more round of sanding and cleaning with acetone. I'm gonna sand it, scuff it a little bit more, just enough to give the glue something to adhere to, the adhesive for the carpet, and clean it down with acetone. But I love how everything came out, got all the glue off. And I mean, this is a painstaking process. When I say there's one part I love to hate about a job like this, it's what I just did. There's no way around it. Just stay in there. Wow, that's thunder. It's been raining all day. But just hang in there and get it done, and take your time, because areas like this where you know you may forget to even do, like right underneath here, you have to make sure you clean underneath every surface all the way around, because that's where the carpet's going to wrap around, and you need that to be clean so that when you bend that carpet underneath, it will stick. If there's any residue, any old glue, any dirt, any calcification, anything, it will mess with the bond. In here's really clean. Again, I'm going to touch up a few spots here and there, but cleaned off the rear transom as well. Got all the just build up, wear and tear. Got the walls cleaned up all around, cleaned up under here, underneath there as well. And even got underneath the gunnels cleaned on this boat. That's all carpeted. Same on this side as well. So yeah, we're in really good shape. But what I'm gonna do next is, here are the panels, and the carpet needs to be removed and cleaned up. And panels are not easy. The toughest part about a panel is getting in these corners. All of these corners, you gotta dig out the glue. Get that scraper in there, dig out the glue. Just wanna get started. Man, this storm is no joke. It's starting to get some thunder and lightning. But yeah, I got about, how many pieces? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I got about 8 pieces to get done. And sorry guys, I know the camera's all over the place, but 3-step process. Rip off the carpet, get that xylene on there, scrape it off, and then get that wire brush on it, and that should clean it all off. Of course, wipe it down. So 4 steps, one final wipe down, and I will be done with all these pieces. Got all these pieces done. Yeah, I'm still breathing heavy. Stripped off all the old carpet. It's amazing how much dirt gets trapped in these carpet, man. I can literally plant a plant in it. All kind of dirt still trapped in the carpet itself. I'll toss all that out. I'm just gonna clean up this area. I gotta get with the xylene and start cleaning up. So that's what'll be what I'll do next. All right, time warp through all of that. That was like really quick for you guys, but that was at least, I don't know, probably 2 to 3 hours for me. Something like that. I wish I kept track, but in the end, got them all super cleaned up. Every last piece, did 8 pieces, hinges underneath, everything. This, all of these done. So feeling really good. Everything is super cleaned up. It's been 3 days of work actually. And I've gotten a lot done, gotten everything stripped down, completely cleaned up. Part of the reason for the success is the boat is actually cooperating with me, not giving me any hard time, knock on wood right now. Hopefully it stays that way and I can just get this thing done. But yeah, 3 days in and I'm ready to get on to wiring, which is really awesome. Next up, we will start wiring up this boat, start doing some woodwork, and then on and on and on, and we'll be done reassembling and getting this back to my client so he can be on the water. Stay tuned, so much more coming. This will be a short series packed with a lot of information. So subscribe to be notified of future videos. Leave us a like and share this video to help it trend on YouTube. We thank you, very much appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one.